Today we've got new Duke Nukem Forever gameplay and the 3DS launch lineup.
Plus the truth about console price tags and more Marvel vs. Capcom 3 rejects.
A lot of show. xplay starts right now. Hello, fine friends. Welcome to xplay. I don't know why I did that. I'm Blair Herder, filling in for the always classy Mr. Adam Sessler.
And I am Morgan Webb. Adam is not here today because he's at a strip club.
Classy.
Though he claims it's really for work.
We'll see if that's true in our preview of Duke Nukem Forever. Adam visits a fine establishment with a name that we can't say on TV.
Yeah.
Presumably to get a look at the endlessly delayed shooter, sure.
Plus, we've got more Marvel vs. Capcom 3 auditions, a Square Enix PSP game that completely rips off a Capcom hit, and the truth about the so-called high price tag of consoles.
It's actually quite shocking. They're not really that high. But first, it's time to look at the video game business in a positive light.
Adam wanted to get a look at Duke Nukem Forever, which is supposedly coming out in May.
Yeah, so one would think Adam would go to Gearbox, talk to Randy Pitchford, check out some footage. Maybe Pitchford would even swing by the office for a demo. That's how these things work usually.
Nope, he went to a Las Vegas strip club.
Lucky.
Welcome to Duke Nukem City, a recreation of a location in the Duke Nukem universe, and well, we're here for one reason only, to get our hands on Duke Nukem Forever. I'm so happy to be joined by the president of Gearbox Software, Randy Pitchford. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you. How's it going?
I'm doing well, especially I've just played Duke. Is this a game that you kind of remade, or did you take the game from 3D Realms in 2009 and then just kind of keep on working?
When I had the opportunity to buy the brand, I realized that what I had to do as a gamer, my commitment had to be to make sure that we're realizing the vision that 3D Realms has. Make sure that that vision, the game that we've been wanting to play, the game we've been waiting for, we need to play that game. So now that I own the brand, I'll have plenty of time to do whatever I want with Duke.
Of course, it takes someone who was there from the very beginning to truly appreciate everything that goes into making a Duke Nukem game. With fans as nearly rabid as the alien scum you're facing, Randy needs to know how to update the series to modern taste without messing with the Duke.
The goal with Duke Forever, I think, is to actually have that worthy successor. And what that means to me is you're Duke again. You're doing what Duke does best. You're saving the world, and you're saving our chicks, and you have to have a wild, wicked adventure, and you want to be on the edge of your seat the whole time. So that's what Duke's all about. So it is a shooter, but it's also about exploration and discovery. It's about playing with a lot of toys and just fun, silly stuff all along the way. And, you know, Duke has a brain. Sometimes you got to solve some puzzles and figure it out a little bit.
Duke is all about kicking ass and chewing bubblegum. The over-the-top action, accompanied by that distinctive Duke humor,
hell, I'd still hit it,
has not gone missing after all these years. Fans of the original game might actually be surprised how far Forever may go.
Whoa, that water's cold.
Well, I gotta say, thank you for your moment of serendipity, because I think all of us could benefit from it.
I feel humbled by it, to be honest, and I'm just thankful that we're in a spot where we could be there for Duke when Duke needed us.
The game actually has a release date now.
Yes, it does. May 3rd. Can you believe it's going to happen?
I've always wondered if it was going to be me or Duke that gave up first, and so at least I finally have my answer.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Randy.
Cheers.
Gamers love to complain.
Do they?
They whine about frame rates, multiplayer co-op, screen resolution, but nothing gets people more worked up than a price tag.
Yeah, let's do a little role playing
Okay.
here. I will be the indignant gamer.
All right.
Okay. Morgan.
Yes.
Why should I pay $60 for an 8-hour game?
People used to pay $100 for an RPG.
Okay. A PS3 should definitely not cost $400. This, of course, is a Microsoft bias.
Do you remember actually how much it was at launch?
$250 for a 3DS epic fail.
Okay. We're going to stop complaining now. We actually did some research and we discovered that you used to pay a heck of a lot more for consoles.
A heck of a lot more. By now you've heard that Nintendo has announced the price of the 3DS. At $250, many folks on the old interwebs have questioned whether or not it's too pricey.
Which made us think, are we getting ripped off? What did we pay for game consoles back in the day? And, more importantly, how much would they cost if you factor in inflation? Let's start off with a true relic. Fairchild Channel F has the distinction of being one of the first game consoles to feature programmable ROM cartridges. Apparently the system sold fairly well, and that's with a hefty price tag. In 1976, it retailed for $169.95, which would be a whopping $651 today. Now, that may sound like a lot of money, but check out our next costly console. The Atari 2600 hit store shelves in 1976, and you're probably very familiar with its lineup of classic games. But you may have forgotten the price tag, $199 at launch. How much would that set you back in today's market? A piggy bank busting $766. In 1980, toymaker Mattel debuted in television. The graphics and sound were far superior to the 2600s, and consumers paid the price, $299 to be exact. Factoring in inflation, you're looking at a grand total of $791. Suddenly, the launch price of the PS3 doesn't seem so crazy.
$599 US.
1985 belonged to the Nintendo Entertainment System.
This year, kids and their parents will spend more than $3 billion on video games and game cartridges.
The industry-changing console came in a couple configurations, but the basic system with 2 controllers and a copy of Super Mario Bros. Cost $129.95. By our standards today, that would be $260, which seems pretty reasonable. 4 years later, Sega released the Genesis. Sonic's home console sold quite well at its launch price of $190. In today's currency, that would be $329. Not bad. Now that we're getting close to modern times, the discrepancies aren't quite so remarkable, but we'd like to leave you with this pricey package. In 1990, the Neo Geo Advanced Entertainment System hit the home market for a wallet-busting $650. The AES was so expensive that it obviously never achieved mainstream success, but we just had to ask, what would that cost if we factored in inflation? A jaw-dropping $1,070. Sorry, Neo Geo fans, Samurai Showdown just isn't worth that much cash.
Yeah!
Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has a killer lineup of fighters. There are some old favorites mixed in with some new faces, and you can make some ridiculous teams. Some internet whiners, though, would beg to differ, though I suspect those dissenting fans didn't see the characters that could have been in the game. Watch this. I'm sorry in advance.
Hi, I'm Dorian Green, but everyone knows me as Squirrel Girl.
Hello, I'm Sasquatch, the leader of Alpha Flight. Well, I was the leader anyway, but the group is no more.
Oh, what happened?
See, none of us was really comfortable working with a homosexual.
Hey everybody, I am Blair from xplay.
Don't I know you from somewhere?
I get this a lot actually.
Wait. Don't tell me.
You know, I got nothing against the gays. I just don't want them shoving it down my throat all the time.
Wow, that's a little prejudiced. I mean, North Star's a person too.
Oh gosh, no, North Star's the best. I'm talking about Puck.
It was that show with the RV.
Yeah, we had an RV on Road Rules.
No. Why don't you tell us a little bit why you think you should be in the new Marvel vs. Capcom?
I'm Canadian. I can turn into Sasquatch.
No. And they did those challenges. You remember?
Sure, Road Rules. On Road Rules.
I have enhanced reflexes, claws, a tail, and I can also talk to squirrels.
Get her out of here.
Oh, and I have a super duper ultra movie. I grab the bad guy by the collar and I shake him real hard and I says to him, knock off the funny business, eh?
Oh my god, I remember. Road Rules. It was Road Rules.
Look at you, Scooby-Doo, crack the mystery. Yeah. Fantastic. I know I may look like a regular TV host, but I actually have superpowers.
Next!
I'm sorry.
Oh, and I also have rabies.
Do you ever get asked back to do those reunion shows?
This is bullshit. Told you I had superpowers. Best damn tease man in the business.
And I have socialized medicine.
Really? 10 years, 3,650 days. You think people still ask Seacrest about American Gladiators 40,000 or whatever he hosted? No, because he's Seacrest. I'm not. After the break, there's more fighting action when we check out the 3DS launch lineup, aka the big ones. Plus, we'll get our asses to Mars. Hope Arnold doesn't watch this, for a preview of Red Faction Armageddon and review a new handheld game from Squeenix that's all about an emo with memory loss. I bet he has black hair. We'll be right back.
This portion of xplay is presented by the United States Air Force. Experience more at airforce.com.
If you want to see your tweets on an episode of xplay and then have to explain what that means to your parents, start following us on Twitter. Our handle is @xplay. We'll be right back. Welcome back to xplay. Whether you want to or not, you're gonna end up buying a Nintendo 3DS at launch. You know why? Because launches make people crazy. That's why you might have a copy of Red Steel or the outfit. It's what was available at the time, so, you just bought it. Here are some of the games that you might frantically pick up in March. They're the big ones. You can't deny it. You're excited to get your hands on a Nintendo 3DS and see the eye-popping visuals for yourself. Here are the big ones to watch out for. First up is Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition. We were impressed with how feature-rich this is for a handheld version.
You get the full console experience, all 35 characters. We're also going to be right out there at the front of the launch window with global online. So if you want to play people locally, we've got that. But if you want to play people around the world, we're the only game in town.
They've even added a new perspective to accentuate the 3D visuals.
So we've got two options. We've got the traditional side-to-side view, which also still has a great 3D element to it. But then what we're calling the new dynamic view is sort of an over-the-shoulder, really lets the 3D of the game pop. So it's just shifting the camera, the gameplay is the same.
Meanwhile, LEGO Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars features new weapons, vehicles, and characters. The game is based on the animated series that bridges the gap between the two trilogies.
The LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars is the next series of games in the LEGO franchise with the Star Wars franchise. And the gamers will kind of get immersed into the world of the Clone Wars animated TV series. We actually take actual episodes and craft the adventures around those episodes.
If LEGO games don't hold your interest, perhaps the gory mayhem of Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D will entice you.
It's the most intense part of Resident Evil, that feeling of the unknown. I don't know what's behind me. Too many zombies, not enough bullets, distilled into the portable system.
The 3D adds a greater feeling of dread to the action, and knowledgeable fans of the series will be excited about the return of some old friends.
So we got lots of different characters from all over the Resident Evil history. We got Chris Redfield, Hunk, Krauser, and for the first time playable in a Resident Evil Mercenaries mode is Claire Redfield.
You'll get a chance to try out all of these immersive new titles when the Nintendo 3DS launches this spring.
Here is the straight, honest truth about the PSP game Lord of Arcana. It is a Monster Hunter ripoff, and since it was made by Square Enix, there's people with spiky hair and an amnesiac protagonist. It's nothing like working outside of your comfort zone, right? Here's our review.
Everyone needs friends. They remember your birthday, they pick you up from the airport, and they help you kill monsters in Lord of Arcana for the PSP. Unfortunately, this co-op action RPG might put a strain on those friendships. Lord of Arcana is basically a low-rent version of Monster Hunter, and your pals probably won't thank you for involving them. The plot is thin at best. You play a warrior trying to restore balance to the monster-ridden land of Horadin. It's up to you to deal with this serious monster infestation. But you won't collect any decent gear or loot until you get out of that first dungeon and into the outside world. And this is where Lord of Arcana really fails to live up to the old Monster Hunter standard. Where Monster Hunter has a rich ecosystem, economy, and society, Lord of Arcana has a whole lot of dungeons to crawl. The controls feel a bit clumsy and the camera can be hard to manage. Really, the highlight of the game is the one-button coup de grace kill. This is an impressive and gory move, and it changes based on the type of enemy. Sort of like a mood ring, but more murdery. The greatest downfall of the game is the ad hoc multiplayer. Without an actual online community, you have to choose between going it alone or bullying your friends into joining your misery. In the end, it's really not worth it. Save your bullying for something more fun, like when you need someone to perform the Heimlich maneuver. Other than a few stylistic high points, Lord of Arcana is a pretty forgettable co-op dungeon crawler. In fact, I'm forgetting about it right now. Lord of Arcana slays 2 goblins out of 5.
There is more XPlay on the way, including the always catty MMO report.
That beard, man, he just gives him such attitude. I know. Plus a gameplay preview of Red Faction Armageddon, which is all about ruining carefully designed space architecture.
But first, another example of why working here can be a very troubling experience.
And now it's time for Overheard in the XPlay cubicles.
What happens to Chewbacca after Return of the Jedi?
A moon falls on him, and he dies.
And this has been Overheard in the XPlay cubicles.
Welcome back to XPlay. Now, Blair and I both like MMOs a lot.
Preach. You know what else I like, Morgan?
What's that?
When people actually step on balloons. It's hot. Super hot.
Pretend I didn't actually hear that, and enjoy this week's MMO report.
Thanks, guys. THQ just announced that they have officially canceled their plans to release both the Company of Heroes and WWE MMOs. COH Online and WWE Online were both planned to be launched in Asia as an attempt to bring THQ's Western IPs to the Eastern MMO market. Normally this would be where we'd say sad face, but it's actually refreshing to see a publisher take the hit and admit their international business plans just won't work. That's what betas are for, people. You kick the tires, take it for a test drive, and then you can rant and rave about how much it sucks on the XPlay boards. Undead Labs, formed by ArenaNet co-founder Jeff Strain, just officially announced their first title, codenamed Class 3. This Xbox Live Arcade title is being labeled as an open-world zombie survival game with the 3 letters M, M, and O nowhere to be seen in the press release. In fact, Undead Labs plans to create an open world in the Xbox Live Arcade game and use the gameplay, setting, and tech as a foundation for a full online world game, presumably in the other game mentioned in their press release, Class 4. Anyone have zombie fatigue yet? Yeah, me neither. SOE just dropped a new cinematic trailer for DC Universe Online, created by the CG geniuses at Blur. This new video shows future Batman and a new unknown superhero named Fracture aiding future Lex in fighting off Brainiac's minions while trying to open another portal to send them back in time. What does this mean for the players of DCUO? We have no idea. But who cares? Future Batman has a robo-suit with lasers. For even more news about the world of MMOs and a brand new full episode of the MMO Report premiering every Thursday afternoon, check out g4tv.com/MMO. But because I've got to go find a new roommate on Craigslist, I'll send you back over to Blair in the XPlay studio.
Thank you, O Bearded Wonder. Now, I don't care what political affiliation you are, we need to give NASA more money. If we don't get to Mars, then games like Red Faction Armageddon will never become a reality. And that, my friends, is something I don't want to have to live with. Here is a preview.
THQ held an exclusive swanky press conference to discuss their upcoming game lineup, and also to show off their new logo. Ooh, nice logo, THQ. But despite all the action THQ will be bringing us this year, right now we're only interested in one game. One very, very red game. Red Faction Armageddon. And we're not the only ones interested in Red Faction Armageddon, as these lucky fans can attest to. So how is the Red Faction different this time out?
Besides just the mechanical things like new weapons and new upgrades and things like that, I think that one of the big things for us this time around is the story aspect of it, where we've really focused quite a bit on the story relative to what we've done in the past.
Now, when the Red Faction world is beating you down, the only thing to cheer you up are new weapons.
One of the ones that you guys would see is the Singularity Cannon, and this is a weapon that will actually shoot out a miniature black hole. It's just perfect for a destruction-based game, right? It's the Plasma Beam. This sends out a beam of destructive force where you can just slice buildings and just like a knife, like a hot knife through butter. But another one of the things that we've shown most recently is the Impact, which is one of the Nanoforge abilities. It does a ton of destruction when you're up close.
It all sounds great, Way better than that Mars movie with Val Kilmer.
The thing that we're really excited about people to get their hands on is the magnet gun. I mean, that's definitely our signature weapon of this game. You fire the first projectile at whatever destructive target you want, fire the second projectile, and that first target will go hurtling towards it. It is a tremendous amount of fun. It's the sort of weapon where anytime we've ever given it to someone and said, play this for the first time, people just go nuts over it.
Red Faction Armageddon should be landing on our planet in just a few months. We'll know much more about the game then, and when it finally arrives, xplay, as always, will be there. Next week on xplay. Who's up for some graphic violence and 4-letter words? We've got a whole half hour devoted to the new game from the creators of Gears of War and Painkiller. You don't want to miss xplay's Bulletstorm special. Plus, we'll have reviews of all the latest games, including Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Fate of Two Worlds and Stacking, the new downloadable game from the people behind Brutal Legend and Costume Quest. All that and more, don't miss it.
Plus the return of the Cessbot 4000, huzzah!
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, he's been a robot since the 80s.
Yes, I am very excited about the Bulletstorm special.
So cool. And then, of course, we have the review of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You don't want to miss that.
Thanks for watching.